How do you really reach someone from a stage? Virtual stages or live stages? How do you create interest the next time you teach a webinar or show up online or do a challenge? What about sales? How do you do all that? Today, I'm gonna show you the greatest secret to sales next time you're speaking in front of an audience. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to our channel. My name's Antonio Baldovinos with the Leadership Vault. If you're new to me and this channel, this is a place for entrepreneurs and content creators looking to build your brand, build your business. We talk all things courses, programs, and being successful. So make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss out. All right, so we got a good one today. Dale Carnegie once said, "The great truths of the world have often been couched in fascinating stories." The number one key to capturing the attention of any audience is by telling great stories that interest your audience. Stories capture the heart and the mind like nothing else. Think about it. We all love stories. We love watching movies. We love listening to songs, which are stories. We love to hear our friends' stories. We like telling our own stories because life is a story. So the best way to connect is by telling stories. Now, you might think you know how to tell great stories, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've sat in so many events with so many audiences and I listened to so many stories. Not only did they not connect with me, they didn't connect with the audience, and I had to slap myself the whole time to try to keep engaged with the speaker. And the audience had to do the same thing, or they simply were on their phones and they disconnected from that speaker. Some of the best speakers and some of the best speeches do something so simple that you might not even believe it. This is what they do. They tell a story and they make a point. That's it. They make a point and tell a story. They tell a story and they make a point. Yes, repeat that over and over again. That's the key ingredient. But there is an art to telling great stories. Hey guys, so glad that you're here. I have something for you. If you're wanting to learn and know all the plays for creating courses and starting your own online business, I got you. I made a free ebook that you're going to want. And I wish I had this when I first began. I want to give you the play-by-play on how to get started online. You're going to learn 8 plays: excavate, allocate, validate, elevate, encapsulate, activate, formulate, and elaborate. These are the 8 plays that will make you successful, I guarantee it. All you have to do is run the play. It's free. So click the link below and I want you to grab it. It's fully yours and it's free. So let's get back to the rest of the episode. Thanks for watching. And if you like the content, do me a favor, subscribe and like. But there is an art to telling great stories. Whenever you start to tell a story, you have the audience's full attention. Don't lose it. Don't miss out. And you can tell a very short story, and you can tell your story or someone else's stories. And if you design your talk around stories, you will be amazed at the response of your audience. And when I figured this out, I came off stage and everyone loved my talk for some reason. And I thought, it was kind of simple. But you know what people started to do? They would tell me what happened to them connected to my stories. I remember this one person came to me, this woman, and she started telling me how she felt in that story. She relived her story from my story. And I noticed how much I related to her and how much she remembered of my story and my point that I was trying to teach. I was like, there's something to this. I figured something out. Here's some powerful truths that I want to share with you about stories. Are you ready? Stories get the audience's attention and they create trust. When telling stories, you want to engage them with something that's relatable to them to potentially reach the whole audience if possible. Now, you won't be able to reach all of them with your story, but stories have this powerful gift built inside them called empathy. Even if they've never gone through that struggle, that challenge, or that great, mountaintop experience, they start placing themselves in that story and they connect. The number one thing you need to sell better is to create trust. And stories help you create that trust. Some people think that selling is about pitching their products, benefits and features. It's not. It's about creating trust. And you do that by telling great stories. Stories are remembered more than anything else when you speak because it connects the heart and the mind all in one. People will remember how how you made them feel at that moment, more than facts of your talk or how great your presentation was. And even if it could be good, that's not what they're going to remember. They're going to remember stories. So tell stories. And can I tell you a couple secrets about selling on stage and your presentations, your talks? I'm gonna share 2 secrets of selling from stages. Secret number 1, your goal is to help change their identity. People in the audience have some sort of limiting belief. They all do. Like, will this help me? Can this work for me? Can I afford it? And so on. So telling stories will help change their identity. This can happen for you. That's how you want to make them feel. And now they're changing their identity with the potential, with the hope, with the faith that's rising up in them. And they're putting themselves in that story that it can happen to me. If it happened for them, it can happen for me. So don't try to convince anyone to buy or make them feel bad if they don't. Help them change their identity, change their belief. And then you offer to help them. And that's where your offer and your product comes in to change their life. And you do that through stories. Secret number 2, tell stories to overcome objections. If you're selling something or presenting an offer, you will always have objections. They just come with the package. Don't wait until the end to confront those objections. Overcome those objections in the beginning by telling stories on the front end of your talk. Stories should be emotional, memorable, and understandable. And once all 3 come into alignment, that's when your inspiration occurs. Stories are feelings with imagination. Stories are emotional charged events. And those 3, when they come together, man, they're so powerful. I want to share with you 3 types of stories, okay? Highly recommend that you write them down. Number 1, personal stories that relate directly to the theme of your talk or speech that you're giving. Number 2, stories about other people who have learned a lesson that the audience can relate to or connected to your subject. Number 3, stories involving success or failure of something. They want to relate to it and they want to experience the benefit of it, all right? And then they're changing their identity, overcoming objections, and so on. So now let me talk to you about some key ingredients that make stories powerful and inspiring. The number 1 way is passion. Passion is something that you can't learn. You can't inspire unless you yourself are inspired. Passion is contagious. Stories will help you feel that connection and share that contagious passion with your audience every single time. Now, let me give you the biggest tip for telling great stories. All right, here we go. Now, my son, I'm gonna do it through telling the story. My son, for example, my oldest son, he's 24 years old and he's just a foodie, right? He loves trying new restaurants. And when he likes a new restaurant and had a great experience, he can't but tell you about it. And you wanna try it out. He did it with such passion. Why? Because he shared it with his authentic passion. He was so excited, he can't but help but tell you about it. He sold it as if he was getting a commission for getting people to that restaurant and talking about it. That's how you should tell your stories. Tell your story with passion. Now, I'm not saying to hype it up. I'm not saying to raise your volume. I'm not saying that at all. Do it in your own authentic way, but do it with passion. Don't tell a story, relive the story. So when I'm speaking, I try to place myself in that moment in my mind's eye. I try to smell the same sense, experience what I felt. I try to picture what I saw. Then I speak that out in detail. This is what will make it authentic, full of emotion. And you will take your audience there. And you want your audience to experience what you experience in that story. Don't point them to the story, take them to that moment of that story. And the more you practice that in storytelling, the greater you're going to be. Create that tension, create the feeling, create that emotion, create your outline with the details that benefit that story and your audience. And one of the greatest tips of telling a story is to connect it to a point. I said that earlier. Tell a story and make a point. And repeat that after me. Tell a story and make a point. Make a point and tell a story. That's it. And that is how you become a great public speaker, but not only that, a great communicator and a great salesperson. If you want to sell something, an offer, a course, or program, make sure that it's embedded with great, uplifting, hopeful, faith-filled stories. Now it's your turn to tell your story or someone else's story. And this is how you speak from the heart to reach the heart. And if you like the content, smash the like button. I will see you at the top.